Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to Tease Time. I'm TJ. Thank you for tuning in. We're getting closer and closer and closer. I don't know how many times I've said it, but we're getting there. We're getting there. Today I'm going to get my water tank situated. I'm going to actually get these mounted, or at least like the resting place where they will live, in the side tray, the side compartment. Actually, let me show you that real quick. So this is where the tanks will live when I get them mounted. I plan on putting like aluminum plate flat across or straight across like here, just to keep something to support it from bowing. And I'm gonna screw those down so that way that should hopefully help reinforce the tank so that they don't like fall or start to droop too much. And I plan on using like ratchet straps around it, and I do have like some rubber spacing blocks. So the plan is to get them in here. Just a matter of getting that cleaned out, and I already have like the little aluminum plates cut. So I already have the aluminum pieces cut, the plate. These are gonna be the base. I already have them cut out. The hole right here is gonna be bottom for the drain for the gray, and then the feed for our freshwater tank is gonna be here. These are the bottoms. I have one for each tank. But today I want to get the tanks actually situated with these heating pads. The heating pads right here will prevent the tanks from freezing up when it comes below freezing. These are switch activated, and these are it's switch activated when I actually turn it on, but these are controlled by a thermostat within, so these come on at a certain temperature. And I do have like a bunch of smaller ones that aren't temperature controlled or thermometer controlled or thermostatic controlled. Those just mount onto the pipes just along like the elbows and lines, just to prevent those from freezing also. But today I just want to get these mounted on here, get the tank put into place, and we'll see how far we go with that. But I have this, and then there's also these right here. These are tank level sensors by Seelevel. The kit that I did install, it's a model 709 HP3W. So this will I'll be able to know whether my tanks are full or empty, or even like before you like take a shower or something, you would know like, oh, I don't have enough water for that, or if you do have enough water. So the purpose of that is for this, or yeah, you know what I'm saying. But this goes out to the side of the tank, and luckily for me, like to program these, all you do at the top, you have to pick whether it's for a gray tank or a black tank or fresh water. You just snip the top, the little tab, and that's how you program the sensors. But like if you're double stacking, there's more to it, but like I'm not double stacking because like these are exactly the length that I need. You need to have either like a 1/4 inch to 3/4 inch, both from both the top and the bottom, and that's to take into consideration the thickness of the water tanks themselves. So like if it's all the way to the bottom like so, like it may read like it still has some water available, but like it won't, because it's taken because like the plastic is blocking it. So you want that to be like up like so. You want to evenly spaced if that's what you have available, but you need at least a 1/4 inch to 3/4 from top and bottom. So I'm actually going to test these. I'm going to get some masking tape to temporarily mount these to the tanks. And I'm going to wire them or plug them in. And if you missed the video where I already did like the install of the Seelevel, like it's already wired up, ready to go to the water pump, to the hot water heater, all that is done. The last thing I have to do is just connect the terminals for this, and then also for the propane tank has a level sensor, and then for the heating pads. But like all the main wiring with the relays, water pumps, all that stuff is done. If you missed that video, click this link right here and you can check that out, and then come back to watch this if you want to get caught up. But I'm gonna use this just to tape before I actually adhere it to the tank. And after I get it adhered, after I get it tested, adhered, I'm gonna spray it with some rock guard underbody coating, because it's gonna be exposed to the elements on the bottom of the vehicle. And then also, a lot of chatting. Also, when you mount this, you need to have like at least like 1 inch or 2 away from like a metal surface, so it doesn't interfere with the pickup of that. So I have enough space for that. How I have these mounted, or plan on having them mounted, it's going to be far towards the rear, and then these are going to be placed towards the front, and that gives me enough space in between like the metal bracket that I just showed you and the tank, so it shouldn't have any problem with that. And then also it says what does it say? It says mount to the right. The wires, you want the wires to run off to the right. You want to make sure you don't have strain on them. Leave like a little slack so that you can have these actually mounted with like some kind of double stick wire ties. You don't want to put strain on that. You don't want to break these. And then luckily for me, since I'm using just fresh water and a gray tank, I do have an extra one of those that's supposed to be for like a black tank. So if anything does happen, I do have a replacement. But I'm just happy I'm not stacking. I just got to cut. We're going to take that. We're going to plug that in, test. I have some water. I'm just going to like put a little water in it just so I can see if I can see like the movement of it. So I might not even mount it. I'm going to mount it going, let's go on the other side. I'm going to test it on the other side because there's no holes. And then once I feel like the water, you'll be able to see the water move and everything like that. But let's get to it. Enough chatting. Let's get stuff mocked up. These are pretty easy to install. Just install over temperatures over like 68 degrees. Use a heat gun. I got some denatured alcohol. Make sure you have a clean surface before you mount either or the sensor or the heating pad to make sure that these do not make sure that they do adhere correctly. And then between my aluminum plate and that heating pad, you don't want to like a conductive material. So I picked up some of this silicone gasket. I'm gonna put that under. I'm gonna put that on the aluminum plates right here, so that way there's a material in between, because you don't want these wires to ground and short out. So you have to be especially mindful like around the area right here. Yeah, so just be mindful of that. And I'm gonna just silicone like strips, especially like right there, and just space it out so that way there's a little wedge or a little space in between the conductive material. So like if that does short out, it won't like kill the heat pads and short that stuff out, and all that'll be in place with a fuse anyway. But still, we don't want a headache. But I think I covered everything. So now it's just a matter of getting this stuff mocked up. All right, let's hurry up before the masking tape decides it doesn't want to stick anymore. It's having troubles. But right now, I already have it plugged in. Hit battery, hit fresh, you hit gray. Black is open because there's nothing connected, and nothing connected for that either. And then fresh 0, gray 0. So that's showing 0. Let's try to add a little water. This is the gray tank because I don't really care about how clean it is on the inside. The fresh water one, I'm probably gonna really rinse out well just to make sure we get all like the manufacturing plastic shavings out. But I'm gonna add water. We're gonna see if we could get this to go up just a little bit anyway. Right now it's showing 0, but it says in the instructions like as you use it, like it'll kind of self-calibrate. It'll start to learn itself like whether it's empty, full, or like the percentage will get even more accurate the more you use. And like to fill it, it's best, it says to fill it like all the way up full the first time, and then it really should learn. But like for the gray, it's gonna learn at its own pace, but like it still should be accurate. But let me add water. All right, we got 3. So we got movement. I don't want to keep dumping like good water in there because that's my drinking water. But those are good enough to adhere. We could get the heating pad right there here. We're gonna do the same for both. That's the gray tank. You just have to be mindful of like the placement because we have like the 1 1/4 and the 1/2 inch fittings at the top, and they just missed like the metal framework of the little mount under the bottom of the van. So the inside one's the gray one, the outside one's going to be the fresh, and that way even if I need to get it out, like pull it out to clean it or do whatever I need to do, that's the one I care about the most. The gray I'm not really going to care about too much, but like still need to make sure it doesn't stink and stuff like that. But fresh water is the most important one. But tested good. The heat pads, I can't really test on those because they need to reach a certain temperature for those ones to activate. The other ones, the mini ones, are there's no thermostat in them, so like those could just turn on. I could do like voltage drop or something off of them. We're not worried about that though. We're doing our tanks today. We're getting that stuff mounted, so I'm gonna get these cleaned up, and then hopefully like the stuff that sticks to like the adhesion on the back of the sensors is better than the masking tape. I'm gonna clean, and then I'm also gonna use a heat gun to get it up to temperature, so that way it sticks a little bit better. And you just have to be mindful of like the placement of the sensors. But yeah. All right, so we gotta wait about 10 minutes in between coats. Let's go lay down where these will live. And I'm gonna wait for the tanks to dry before I put these in and actually mount them. So that way I know exactly where these need to be. Like if I have to put them off center or something, because I want them to sit far enough that the sensors don't sit close to the metal frame. All right, so this is what I'm thinking. We got our aluminum down. This is where the holes for the tanks will sit in. I have some self-tapping screws. I plan on screwing directly through this. I went ahead and I did clean it up a little bit. I'll go through again with some rubbing alcohol, and I probably actually not sure if I want to put like some silicone sealant under that. Because like water will get in here eventually, and this is steel, this is aluminum. Moisture, stagnant moisture causes rust, especially on steel. Aluminum won't rust, but the steel will, and the galvanized process of different materials might bond. But I'm not gonna be too concerned with that. It should probably be okay. But I just want to get the tanks put in here just so I can see exactly where it needs to sit. Like if I need to move this like forward or back, we'll get that marked. And the same with that in the back, so that might actually be it right there. But like I was saying, like the back end where the sensors are on the back of the tank need to have like that space so like the metal doesn't interfere with the sensors doing their thing. So I'm gonna put those tanks in now just so we can see where they're at. We're gonna mark this, we're gonna drill into the framework here, and we're gonna put our little silicone strips over this just so there's a buffer. And on the front part, like the little heat pad sits back this way, so there's gonna be a gap here. So like I'll probably build up the silicone strips like around here in the front part just to balance that out, and that'll also go over like the screw heads on this side. So I'm not too sure if the screw heads will interfere or make contact with the tanks on the back side, but that's why I'm going to put the tanks in so we can see. All right, and that's the undercoat. That's all set. That's good. All right, so these marks right here, these are where there's wire interference, where I need to make sure I have the silicone strips right there so it doesn't wear through on the wires right here for the heating pads. These lines are just so I know where the plate needs to go. So it's gonna live there, and then we need to raise or put extra silicone from here to there. Put extra. Those silicone strips to kind of balance that up, to lift this up so it matches the heating pad. So it's gonna probably take a strip or two to balance that up, make it somewhat even. And then we'll be plumbing. At some point we'll be plumbing, but let me get this mounted, get these screwed in, get the silicone strips, some rub alcohol, denatured alcohol, get stuff cleaned up, and yeah. And bada boom, bada bing, the tanks are prepped, ready to go in. Heating pads are on. Our tank level sensors, you probably can't see them now. They're covered with underbody coating just to protect them from road debris and moisture. So all that is set to go. And then for the underside, the side compartment of the van, this is what we had so far. I put in aluminum sheet right here. These are screwed down. This is just kind of to help the tanks to keep them from bowing when it goes down. There is some adjustment that I need to do. I was planning on doing these silicone strips, but like I'm thinking of going a different route. I need more of those, or I need single side rubber sheets that I think I was looking up, just to kind of have like you don't want to have an electrical conducting base. So I was thinking the silicone should help, but I'm gonna go ahead and I looked up I think Lowe's or somebody has like rubber sheets that are single-sided adhesion. I'm gonna get that to cover the whole thing, so we don't have to worry about it. Then I can even use it to like raise it up, because right here the heating pads will sit, but the heating pads won't be here, so I could double those up to level up the tank, so that way it's all even, there's equal pressure on the bottom, and also to cover up like the screws that are poking up, so you don't want those to wear through. And if I put like a rubber sheeting on, it'll keep the tanks from actually like sliding when I do strap them down. I plan on using like a ratchet strap coming around them, and just some rubber blocks to keep them spaced to where they need to be so they don't move. And then even I could probably even do like the rubber coating like around the edges also, so in case it does slide into it, it's not wearing through the tanks. So I'm pleased what we're at today. We're getting closer, I keep saying that, I don't know how many times I said it, but we're getting closer. Next thing I have to do, once the tanks are in, I do have to plumb, and then I have to run the little mini heating pads onto the other pipes. But like, yeah, everything is in there, we're getting there. I'm excited for paint eventually. So paint is definitely coming. I'm trying to think if I drilled all that I need to drill and made all the holes that I need to make holes, if that makes any sense. I think we're yeah, we're pretty much there. The only hole I do have left to drill will be for our shower head and for our faucet for the kitchen area. I think those are like the only holes I actually have left. So we're pretty much at paint. Everything is assembled, cabinets are assembled, except for the cabinet doors. I do have to add like the hardware to those when I install them, but I plan on painting like the back sides first. Well, paint the face frames, paint the back of the cabinets, mount them, and then all I have to do is paint the face of the cabinets, just for space wise, and just trying not to mess up the paint, like trying to flip over the cabinet doors. But yeah, we're getting real close. I'm very happy for that, to regain a little bit more time is the goal. But anyways, enough chatting. We're done. We're done with the bottom. I do have to just get some rubber coat that I'm not going to show, or I'm not going to record that. That'll be pretty simple. Just throw it in and stick it on there, and that'll be that. So until next Wednesday, until next Wednesday, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for liking, subscribing. If you've been like a day one for this process, it's been like a couple years in the making. I do appreciate that. So until next Wednesday, since we got empty tanks, make sure you have a mind that's able to be poured into. Peace, TJ.